Well, this is, I guess, the first podcast of the new competitive section of Yu-Gi-Oh! Under the competitive edge. And I guess today we're talking about side decks. And who do we have with us? We've got me, AllCityKing.
Ginzaki.
And Midnightfox.
Cool. Got an admin in here, or the site owner, which is really cool. So let's start talking about side decks. Fox, tell us what your side deck is for your main deck, and what do you run as your main deck? Might as well tell us that too.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I run a Blackwing variant. Kind of goes back to the old school Blackwing when Dad was running huge, and it runs Dark Greffers to dump your Bayous and your Sirokkos and stuff into the graveyard. The way I build all my decks, I'm what you would call an ambidecker. I can side my entire side deck in to my deck. I build my spell and trap zone to where I can side out almost every monster and make a completely different deck. And usually my side consists of anti-meta. So first round, they'll come in, they'll be playing me, and they'll be playing against the Dark Greffer dumping side or Blackwings. Then happen to run into, say, an Inzector build, a Dino Rabbit build, I side into anti-meta, which runs like I run 3 Thunder Kings, and I'll run Vanity's Emptiness. I'll run some Effect Veilers in there, an extra Chaos Sorcerer, because I only run one in the main deck alongside Blackluster Soldier Envoy of the Beginning. And the dad will come out to put that extra Chaos Sorcerer in because it's more of a light and dark mixture. One of my little tech cards I like to pop in there in my side deck is Photon Saber Tiger. A lot of
Nice.
people don't see that coming, and especially if you can get one dumped in the graveyard, have a set call or a reborn in hand, you get one out. You get one to your hand when you summon it, then you special summon that other one. You got 2,000 beaters, or you can pop them over into a Leviair to bring your remove from play back into the game.
Nice.
Leviair, one of my favorite Xyz monsters. Other than that, I run extra MSTs, and I have 3 Doom Calibers always sitting in my side. You never know what you're going to have to stop.
Nice. That's pretty cool going back into the old school Blackwings and then adding the Photon Saber Tigers. Yeah, I'm sure nobody would see that. I wouldn't. I'd be like, that you're not even a Blackwing player. I'd be like, what are you doing? And then all of a sudden you'd beat me and I'd be like, oh, well, I guess that works. I'll just go hand in my forfeit papers.
Yeah, I had the guy playing Monster Mash. I don't know if you've heard of what that is. That's basically where they mix in
Oh, yeah.
Prismas, Dark Magician, and stuff, and they pop into Dark Magician Knights, so on and so forth, and just mash it up in there.
Mm-hmm.
And when he saw my side come into play and he got beat, he just kind of stomped off. Like, what the heck just happened?
Nice.
That you're not playing the same deck. I said, yeah, look. Played it out, and he just stomped off. Whole face.
Nice. So, what about you, Ginzaki? What's your main deck and what's your side deck? And what Photon Saber Tiger worthy cards do you have?
I'm not sure I have any worthy of that. I play standard full Helm Knight build X Sabers, full side deck of, or full extra deck of Synchros rather than Ixies or anything else. My side deck consists of rarely or pretty much cards to counter things I see every day. Effect Veiler to DD Crow to Cyber Dragon to Puppet Plant to Nobleman of Crossout to Shadow and Prism Mirror at 2, Chain Disappearance at 2, and Starlight Road. Pretty standard. Like I said, it counters just about everything. Effect Veilers are useful against anything. So is DD Crow. Cyber Dragons for machines. Puppet Plants for samurais. Nobleman of Crossout for anything. Shadow Imprisoning Mirror for Dark Wings. Um, Chaos Dragons. Just anything that runs good dark monsters that shuts down. Chain Disappearance was for frogs, so I don't know if what I'm going with it at the moment, but
I mean, let's be honest. Darks are right now in the meta. Darks are running rampant, especially with Inzectors getting released. It's ridiculous.
Well, if you think about it, all three of us tonight, like when I explained my deck, we're all playing darks, and we are three different people from completely different areas. So you have to.
actually completely wrong. I'm playing Earth.
Oh, wow. Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. X-Sabers aren't dark. Yeah. I totally just had a brain fart. I was looking at my Chaos Sorcerer, so.
Yeah, the only dark in my deck is Gores.
Yeah. But, like, X-Sabers, for being strong, they're still really good. But, yeah, if you look at it, like, everything's dark. Except for Dino Rabbit. You can run, like, you run the evils or whatever,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, Shadow Imprisoning Mirror is just my favorite tech. It's the only card I've never considered taking out of my side deck at any point in time.
That's
Now,
not
I'll tell
bad.
you a favorite tech card that I love that I used to play all the time, and it used to annoy the crap out of people, is Forced Back. Everybody overlooks that card. But special summons, Genzo at 3 never gets to hit the field at Forced Back. That's one of the rulings. Knocks him back. This was, of course, back in the days of Soul Control. Yeah, I've been in the game for a long time.
Also have I.
Yeah, I've watched the evolution of fusion monsters. I'm a hero player, have been the whole time, and that's actually what I play now. Like my deck is Chaos Heroes in preparation for Ascarido, with a few tech cards in it, just so I can have more viable fusions, so I can go into different things, so I can go into Ab-Zero and Nova Master a little more. I run the Destiny Hero engine for the Destiny draws, and Doomlord because when you Doomlord an Xyz monster and it comes back in the second main phase, it doesn't get its materials. Also, at the same time, you remove a monster and then you overlay with two Doomlords for Levier or something, their monsters don't come back.
So you prefer Gores over Battle Fader then, Ginzaki?
I do. One of my favorite things to pull at locals, and I'm known for this at my locals, is if I draw Gores first hand, I just don't set anything and wait for the unattentive player to run straight into that wall.
And you know they're not paying attention because nobody draws that dead. You know you're getting set up. I know when I go to locals and somebody leaves an open field, I know if I attack, I'm walking into something, so I better have a backup plan.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, that's how I actually taught my very first locals. Uh, in finals, I was playing some Watt player, and it was a terrible deck, and he had no idea what he's doing. And I just sat there, and I opened Gores both times. We cut and shuffled and everything, and then he just couldn't get over my Gores. He just couldn't. There was nothing he could do.
Wow. Oh, man.
Yeah, my best experience with Gores was I drew into Gores, set nothing, let my opponent go. He power bonded into a Cyber Twin Dragon, attacked me. I threw down Gores and the token, and he was so furious he forgot to attack the second time.
Really?
Yeah,
You
it was
know,
hilarious.
I do that with most of my decks, though. I am a deck. I'm like, got one right now. It's a mixture of light and dark warriors, but it's a Bushi build. But it sides into X-Sabers. X-Saber Full Helm Knight is one of my favorite tech cards. You got 2 Gardenas now. You run 3 Saber Full Helm Knights. You got 5 attacks you can negate. I love it.
You guys want to hear my side deck now?
Go for it.
Let's hear it.
All right, so like I said, play Chaos Heroes in preparation for a Scarido. So here's my side deck. It's Miracle Fusion, Super Poly, 2 Soul Taker. That's for the Light Pulsar Chaos Dragon, so they missed their timing. Judgment, 2 Warning, 2 Chain Disappearance. Ginzaki Chain Disappearance is amazing against Inzectors.
Okay, yeah.
It's absolute. You hit Hornet, they have no Hornets. You hit Dragonfly, they're shut down. And you have the bottomlesses for centipedes, so that nixes everything.
Yeah, I hadn't actually thought of Inzectors when considering Chain Disappearance.
Yeah, I have 2 Torrential, 2 Fiendish Chain. Now my tech, just for everything that's run right now, Summon Limit. I don't know if you guys have even considered this. Neither player can summon more than 2 times per turn.
I've considered it, but I don't think I have enough personal back row hate to get rid of it if I needed to.
What do you guys think about what I've been seeing here a lot lately on DN? Safe Zone.
Safe Zone's making a comeback. It made a really, really big impact with like the Bubble Beat Absolute Zero build kind of deal, but I don't know. I don't like Safe Zone personally because sometimes I need my monsters off my field.
I haven't actually thought about Safe Zone since I built a 37 monster deck.
Oh, I love Monster Mash.
Here's another favorite one of mine that I've actually been hearing a lot of people talking about too. Tourbus. A lot of people overlooked it for a long time. But what they don't think about is the recycling abilities of it. And if he's an Xyz overlay unit, he still gets his effect when he hits the graveyard. You can dump him for Dark Grepper. He still gets his effect. You can send him with Foolish. Still gets his effect. What do you guys think of Tour Bus versus Tour Guide?
When I was running my Chaos Heroes, before I put the Destiny Hero draw in, I ran 3 Tour Guides and a Tour Bus because Tour Bus is amazing. You can put back any card in the person's deck or a graveyard back into the deck, so I can recycle my Veilers, my Stratos. It's amazing.
It also shuts down your opponent's engine. If they have something good going on in the graveyard, you dump your Tour Bus, and boom. You play, put back. They're getting ready to go for a good Chaos play. You've seen them play Duality, so you know a Blackluster Soldier Envoy's coming, or they've Gold Sarked it. Get Tour Bus in the graveyard. Send that stuff back. Well, if you pull it early game. That's why I like to run 3 copies.
Now here's my question that I haven't actually thought about until now. If you tour guide into a tour bus and then overlay for a rank 3 and then dump the tour bus, do you get its effect then, or is it still negated?
No, you drop the tour guide first, then you send the tour bus, and it sends the tour guide back into your deck. It runs into a little engine there within itself.
Yeah, because I was thinking about building a Fiend deck based on that, but I didn't know if the effect of Tour Bus continued to be negated after it was overlaid.
No, you can still get the effect, but the thing is, you lay your tour guide, you summon Tour Bus, you overlay them, you dump tour guide first. And then when you lay your second unit off, you lay the tour bus to send the tour guide back. And then you save your pot of avarice for like running in and putting your tour buses back in to research with tour guide. Boom, boom, boom. It's a nice little engine that a lot of players were overlooking for a while, but I've been seeing that played a lot on Dueling Network too. And at locals.
I can definitely say that being useful.
Yeah. And it's good in a chaos build. I mean, to be able to have those 6 monsters in there that make an engine, and you're running into like the Photon Saber Tigers, right there is 9 different level 3s. Easy to get into a Leviair and recycle your chaos food too.
Don't forget about Zen Mains with its reprint coming.
Mhm.
Everyone's going to be massive on the level 3s.
Oh yeah, that's why I was a very sad panda when I actually busted apart that deck and I got rid of 2 of my photon sabers.
Yeah, I
I
should have
had
held on to
so
mine
many
too.
non-first editions because I didn't want to spend the money for first edition ones.
So, what do you guys think you need to side deck against Insectors?
Um, well, as you mentioned, Chain Disappearance is a good
Mm-hmm.
choice. Effect Veiler is pretty much a side deck against anything that isn't vanilla.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Anything that hits
Thunder
low
King, maybe?
level, because if you run into Insectors, for the most part, your bottomless is going to do you no good.
Mm-hmm.
That engine, it just knocks it out of the picture.
Yeah. Have you guys ever thought of like regular trap hole on the Dragonfly?
Yeah. I've considered actually maining a couple regular trapples. Um,
I've actually considered bringing back my old friend Force back for that deck, just because it's so annoying. And they actually have to get stuff out to the field to get the engine going. Little tech that would be completely overlooked, but another one is Blackhorn of Heaven. That's a good one too. That's a forgotten one. Stops the special summons.
Black Horn of Heaven. I think I ran 2 of those when I didn't have Solemn Warning.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It's
Now
never a
another
card
one.
to overlook, though.
Mm-hmm.
I
No.
usually side deck my warnings and put them in if I need them. Say I run into Inzektor, Rabbit, Chaos Dragons. I put them in for that because I don't see a humongous amount of those. And so usually they end up being dead draws. So in my extra deck, I started running Thought Ruler Archfee, and that's another good forgotten monster. Because if you play out Solemn Judgment and pay 4,000 life points, and you either lose life points or you stay there, 1 or 2 of your Solemn Warnings are going to be junk in your hand. So I
Mm-hmm.
run TRA to recycle my life points so that I don't run into dead draws.
Good idea.
I've never been a synchro player, but I know so many people do that. Never been a synchro player, but it just works. It does.
I'm not a synchro player either, but with samurais, the synchros are so pretty that I had to put them together.
Yeah, I have a list about what to side deck against Insector, Rabbit, and Chaos Dragon. But I want to ask you guys, with the recent release of the Samurai Warlord structure deck, since I'm looking right at it, um, what are good side deck cards against them? I think my summon limit stops it. Because first off, if you can get it first turn, they can't Miskani it or whatever, that counter trap card.
Musakani.
Uh, Musakani, yeah, they can't do that. They don't really run MST or back row heavy. They don't, and there's not a whole lot of cards running the typical six
Really,
samurai build.
your real problem with 6 Samurais is usually, if it's built right, first turn, legendary 6 Samurai Shien is an easy pop out to the field. And if they get that out along with a great Shogun,
Well,
you
this is
might as
actually
well.
where one of my side deck cards comes in. I chose to tech in Puppet Plant. So
Mm-hmm.
if my
Taking warrior
opponent first
types.
turns a Shien, Puppet Plant, take it, throw down a Pashul, and go for uh, the what's it called? The Black Rose Dragon or the X Saber Souza, or play down a Full Helm Knight and go for Stardust.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, I'm more into slowing my opponent down. Like myself, I'm a chaos hero player, so me playing summon limit is perfectly fine. I don't summon more than twice per turn if I can help it because I use my aliases for Gemini sparking, etc., and stuff like that. So summoning twice is fine because I'll just Neos alias, Gemini spark, draw Miracle Fusion, play Miracle Fusion, and then while they have a Kageke and a Kagemusha sitting on the field, one in attack, one in defense, and they're just like, oh, my gateway's gone because you sparked it. And then summon limit stops them. They can synchro and then summon, but their entire spam for samurais is gone.
Here's a good old school one that if you played for a while, Ginzaki, you'll remember. I believe it was Kaiser Coliseum, that your opponent can only have one more monster than you.
That is such an old school card. I used to play that.
Yeah, I've been playing since the game was brand new, so there's nothing you can mention that I haven't heard of. And Kaiser Coliseum, one of those cards that I ran it for a good long time just when Warrior spamming became big.
Mm-hmm.
When it was first introduced, though, when in Magician Force, it was particularly useless for me because there just back in the old days there wasn't monster spamming. It just wasn't possible in most, if
No, it
any,
wasn't. You
decks.
weren't able to swarm as easy until we hit into like Cyber Dragon and you hit into Treeborn Frog, and then that just became what the game was all about: speed and filling up your field quick.
Which is a discussion for another day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I know our next discussion, actually, for everyone who wants to know, is actually going to be on reprints. How you feel about it, what's been going on, especially in the last 6 months, because reprints have been crazy. And I think there's a lot of discussion about that because there can be a lot of people that like it, a lot of people that hate it. So that can be for next week.
that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I could go into discussions on reprints.
Well, see, it's okay for me because, well, I won't get too much into this, but I'm not an expensive player, so I just wait and wait and wait, and then, oh, surprise to me, Dolka and Zenmain's in the same tin.
And
Love
then we
it.
have people like Fox, who is a collector, so every time there's a reprint, his collection goes down in value.
There you go. I mean, I remember back when I had the pretty PCY Karibo, the purple one. Good, good money for that thing. And then they released it, not the PCY, but they re-released the purple Karibo as a rare. I was so sad.
Yeah, but we'll get into that next time. Do you guys have any other side deck information, anything like that you guys want to cover before we go?
I think we've covered all of it. Side decks are pretty easy so long as you remember there are some basic cards that you need for any deck, and then tech in what you need to fit the situation of your locals, and if you go, of your regionals.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to say anybody who's never tried ambidecking, try it.
I was
When
just about
you
to say I'm
complete
gonna try that.
when you completely catch your opponent off guard in the second round, if they just trample you first round, the look on their face when they see a completely different deck is priceless.
Oh, at the moment, I'm trying to get a side deck together for my relinquish deck so I can side out the relinquish parts and turn it into Tele DAD.
See, I was an old school, like back when I modded on ETC, I was a deck builder also, and almost every one of the decks I built for people who requested it were ambi decks. You could pop in one deck and it could became a completely different deck. It's just fun.
Yeah, which in itself, so long as your opponent isn't running a deck that just fully outmodes you, then you normally will catch them off guard with that and have a good chance of beating them when you do it.
Yeah, if I go to regionals, I don't do that, but at locals, the looks on their faces because I always switch up decks is priceless. What do you guys think about before we end the night? Have you guys read up anything on the new Piper Chaos support, the dark versions?
I have not.
No. Do
You were
tell. Do
talking
tell.
about like and relinquished. I'd look a little bit up on the internet on it. I think we'll post up some articles. I'll start looking for it so that some players can get a heads up before these cards actually hit.
There's like
May
a
not
Dark
make,
Mystic Piper?
that's one of them. It may not make Piper tier 1, but probably tier 2 to tier 1.5.
Hmm. I'm gonna look that up too, actually. Sounds good. Even though I'm a hero player.
You know, if you guys check out the Forbidden reviews, like I was going over Thousand Eyes Idol, if
Mm-hmm.
they when they release that, I would love to see or Thousand Eyes Restrict. I'd love to see Thousand Eyes Restrict come back because that would just make Piper Chaos a spam build.
All right.
But I think that's about it.
Well, thanks guys for coming on, and thanks to the listeners. And I guess we will talk to you guys next week. If you guys want to join again, let me know. I was looking for volunteers to talk, and like I said, next week is about reprints. So, Fox, Ginzaki, thank you very much, and thank you to the listeners, and we'll talk to you guys soon.